Forgive me. Hi, everyone. Forgive me. It's Monday. I'm sorry I'm 5 minutes late today. I did not intend to be 5 minutes late today, but sometimes Mondays get a hold of me and I have to wrestle myself out away from them in order to get here. So I apologize for being 5 minutes late. There's no excuse for that other than I did my best. Life happens, and I'm going to say this time, better late than never. For those of you joining me today, I'm Terri Hardin. If this is your first time, welcome. If you are on the replay and you are watching this not live, please post in the comments and introduce yourself. Let me know who you are. I do AMAs, which is the Ask Me Anything, every Friday. And on Monday, I just check in with y'all to see how you're doing and show you a little something, announce a little something. Basically, Comfy Chat Channel is all about coming in from the cold reality, sitting by the fire, and hearing a few stories. Okay? All right. The first thing I'm going to do is get this out of the way. This is my Patreon treasure chest device. In here are the names of my Patreons, Terry's Tribe, and every month I do a giveaway. And they all have numbers, and I do this little giveaway, and they get it, and I'll just set it on the floor for now, and I'm going to take a load off. I've been standing for a while. Okay, so today I want to show you my latest, we'll say challenge, okay? Yeah, we'll say challenge. My latest challenge is the BlackLight Hitchhiking Ghosts. Maybe many of you have seen the BlackLight Hitchhiking Ghost. Maybe many of you have not seen the BlackLight Hitchhiking Ghost. But, okay, I'm just making ready here. I'm just making ready here because what I should have done is, thank you. Yay. Oh, dear. All right. Okay. All right. Let me just check one thing. Okay, good. All right, good. I just wanted to make sure that there was no last minute emergencies. This tends to happen with me sometimes is when I'm on the air, things like this happen. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to find for you what they look like. So I'm going to remind you of what the ghosts look like. Okay, here we go. So this is the glowing ghost. So here's the pin, the Hitchhiking Ghost pin. It's a good size, right? So if you haven't seen it, it's available. It's about that big. I'll change the camera and show you what it looks like. And then it glows in the dark. Okay, so this is what I talked about on Friday. Just a little recap, keeping it tight. Okay, that's what it does. It goes there, it glows. Yay for it, right? So now the other thing that I did was that I created BlackLight Hitchhiking Ghosts. So here they are. These are the sculptures. So I thought I'd share with you today how, because over the weekend, I created the experience of the BlackLight ghosts. So these BlackLight ghosts are available for $750 for the set. And if you have collected my art before, you know that most of my single figures, Groot, and things like Groot, run around just under $200, $195 a piece. So if you do that times 3, which is $600, the extra $150 is because it's a set, and because they're a little larger, and because of the boxes, et cetera, and everything I've gone through. They're limited to 100. But I'm going to take you guys through the experience, okay? I usually don't. I want it to be a surprise, but this time I thought I would, okay? All right, so here is the box. And I'm just going to open it for a minute because I had one thing that was missing, and I want to just tuck it in there for the sake of argument so you have the whole presentation. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to show you the whole presentation. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. So the first thing as an artist I wanted was a bright green box. So here's the green. Okay. Isn't that pretty? And then the next thing I wanted for the BlackLight ghosts was a cool front. Look at this, because they're BlackLight ghosts, right? So look how it shimmers. So this is the way you're going to get the box, and my signature is under here. And this is how you're going to get it. And look at it. You could even, you may find yourself playing with this box and then going, oh yeah, there's something inside. Oops, there's something inside. So, but look at all the colors. Isn't this great? Okay. Yeah, I invested in these giant to make the cover. It had to be different from the Illuminating ghosts, because the Illuminating ghosts are much more expensive because they light up. Okay. But this is what it looks like. Okay. And then when you open it up, look at that. Isn't that killer beautiful? I just love it. Oh, it's so awesome. This is a drawing that I did. So I actually did this drawing. And I will explain that on the custom box I did, this is my custom box for the Illuminating ghosts. I produced this drawing for here. There's more to this box, but I'm not going to show it to you because I want that to be a surprise. But this one, I thought I'd share a little more openly with everybody. But isn't that gorgeous? Like I said, you may spend time playing with the box, like your, you know, how your cats and animals, your fur babies like to play with the box, and little children do. You know, this box is just going to be lots of fun. And then I sign the bottom, and then it opens like this. So it opens like this, and then you lift this up like this. Now, you got to kind of hold, you know, because this is my prototype. So I'm holding this. You won't have to do this when you finally get it, okay? But inside, the next thing you get is this amazing certificate of authenticity. Now, full disclosure, this is the same certificate. Let me turn on a light here. The same certificate as is in the Illuminating Ghost, but the difference is on the back it says BlackLight Ghosts. Just lets you know. I printed up quite a few of these, so for cost effectiveness and be able to keep the price down for you. But again, there you go. And it's going to say now, so you'll know it's the BlackLight Ghost. Underneath, I'll write LTD 100, and it's a limited edition of 100, and that comes in there. Okay. Then we have the beautiful covering like this. And when you open it up, that you take this top part off like this, here's how they come to you. Woohoo! So each ghost has his own little home. You have 2 9-volt batteries, and you have the 2 little black lights. Now, the way these black lights work is that they have a little thing here. And many of you said that have ordered these, you didn't want these black lights, but I'll send them to you. Or you can write to me and say no, and I won't include them. But the idea is that if you touch it like this, I'm just going to touch it because when you plug it in, so you take this part, you plug this part in like that, and then you touch it to the thing, and it does a black light. Look at that. Woo! And I gave you 2. They're not inexpensive, but I thought you guys should have a couple so you could play with the black light effect on your own. So there they are, and they come packed like this. So everything is nice and safe. And there you go. So that's the way they look. Then, of course, they have the little black light effect. Many people are building their own black light, like they're doing a shadow box or they're doing a case. I've sold about 10 so far of the 100 that I am going to eventually have. But the reason is because this is the first time I just got the experience worked out. So that's why I wanted to show you the whole experience. And this is what I'm talking about when you order something from me, especially something that's pretty elaborate. I really go through pains of making sure that it, is like this. And there it is. And the ones you saw inside here are my art proofs. So my art proofs are the ones, if I open this again, and I show you again, my art proofs are this way. Let me just make this a nice little shot. That looks good. The art proofs are in such a way that I handle them. Okay. So I'm handling them. I'm doing all of this, but yours doesn't get this abuse. And it's not really abuse, but I have to put them in and take them out and make these. I do all of this by hand. Now, under normal circumstances, if it wasn't COVID, I'd have a cutting party. But I have to cut each one of these by hand. They'll eventually be glued, but right now they're separate, which is why I've had to put my hand in here. But I figured out this whole pattern layout, and there they are. And I've cut it all up. And so when you get it, this is the way it looks. Now, many of you may be asking why take all this trouble for such a, for this. I could probably just stuff it with foam or wrap them each in bubble wrap. But, for $750, actually, who am I kidding? For any of the sculptures that I do, I'm going to create an experience. All right. It's just the way I am. I create an experience. For Groot, I did this box right here, and it had what looked like palm leaves on the top. And when you opened it, the paper was green, and it's all recyclable. It was recyclable because that's what Groot is, a plant kind of of the earth. So every single thing that I do has a theme. But I just love this. I thought you might really love this. So if you're interested in the BlackLight Ghost, there's plenty of BlackLights available, and you can pick your number. Now, 13 is gone. 33 is gone. Number 69, I think, is gone. And then the art proofs. A lot of people bought the art proofs, so they're gone. Not these art proofs. These are mine. I always keep a set for me. But it took a lot to get to here and to the Illuminating ghosts. Okay. So I thought I would just share that with you today. I thought it would be kind of a nice thing. And you can see how big the box is. If I go like this, let me turn the light off because it's a little nicer to you, a little friendlier if I go like this. But I mean, like I said, you might just play with this, and then remember there's something inside for you. But yeah, I wanted to share that because many of you are artists out there. Many of you are collectors out there. And many of you have said you want to collect authentic art as opposed to tchotchke stuff. And so I want to make sure that for you, I have been creating art that you can enjoy and love. That is, I try to do the gambit. So the ghost pin, which is almost as big as an eyeglass, is one of my eyeglasses, right? The ghost pin is $20 plus tax. And the way that you can get it is to go to, let me just pop it on here. Go to my website right here, terrihardin.com, and click on the words above called online store. It'll take you right to the store. And there's several pins that I have. They're available. But the ghosts that glow are there. Okay. And it's a big pin, and we kept it at $20 because we wanted to, you guys to have something special. Okay. So everybody loves the Hitchhiking Ghost, but maybe not everybody has $750, or in the case of the Illuminating Ghosts, close to $1,300 because they're $1,299. $1,299. So, and that's because of the work that goes in all by hand, those ones that light up. But as I've said before, those ones that light up are the Cadillac. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be doing light up ghosts anymore. That was blood and bone. But the BlackLight ghosts are the great thing that came out of that. Because I wanted something that was more affordable for those of you who couldn't buy the Cadillac. Cadillac is limited to 50. They're beautiful. They're like nothing you've ever seen. Little specters. I've shown them. Little specters you can sit on yourself. Here. Wait. Brain working again. Brain working again. So if I click back to this for you, just for the fun of it, I click back to this and you see this box, and then I open it like this for you. And you saw in the thumbnail that they have arrived. So the people who have ordered them, I'm going to be working on getting this box. That's why I designed this box like this, because now I have to build all of this, okay? I have to make sure I have these lights. I have to make sure I have enough batteries, and I'm building all of this. But if we put him here, and I just take a little walk over this way, here is the illuminating ghost. You see, he's like a little specter. He has areas here that are less lit, and then lit areas, and that's because I wanted to look like it is a actual ghost standing on your shelf. But there's a lot more involved to this one, because he has a light mechanism, and you got to open this. There's batteries inside, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton of work. That's why they're limited to 50. And, but the BlackLight ones, once you use this BlackLight, they shimmer. And so both are very, very nice. Both are very, very unusual. Both are my designs. And even the pin is based on my designs, not the classic, but Terri's interpretation of the, did I close my, yeah, good. My interpretation of those, because that's what I do. I create the impression of it. So if you are an avid collector of things like these ghosts, you can look on your shelf from afar, from a distance, and know that they are from me. Okay, that's the idea. Same with Groot, same with Jiminy, same with Stitch, same with Remy. Everyone I do something a little bit different. Now, coming up are a few other sculptures that I'm working on. And they are, I'm looking to do a Figment, and I'm looking to do a Cheshire Cat. The only reason I haven't been able to say exactly what I'm going to do is because of the price point. I like to keep the single figures around $200 a piece. And that's because not only does I sculpt them, and then I send them out to be manufactured by a very company that only does 50. Usually the rule is 50. I went to 100 on the BlackLight Ghost because so many people seem to want them. Now, the reality of it is, if I was in person and you got to actually touch and hold and play with these would be sold out. I only have 12 sets left. And then they're all sold out. But the reality of it is, I mean, this camera doesn't really pick it up in the best, to show it in its best light. But the art proofs are created so you can touch and move and, have an LP. If you should drop it, you're not breaking your set. Your set is touched one time going into the box, and the box is closed, and it's never touched until you open it. So it's pristine. Why? Because you've invested. Whether the figure is under 200 or is 750 or whatever, I have art proofs that you touch, but art proofs are more pricey. Many people want the art proofs because you can see my work. You can see some of the things that I've changed and altered. In this case, I can show you right now that okay, so this one was what we chose, okay? But there was a long way in getting to this guy, all right? Let me show you a little bit of the journey. Yeah. There's another one, but I'm going to wait to show you. But here is the journey. Here's a painted one. Here's one that was on a light box like this. These were all ideas. And it went to this one. But this one's lighter. It's more tippy. It's a little bit Walmart looking, if you will. Let me turn the light on. That may help you a little bit. But it's pretty like this, but it's one of those boxes that changes color on its own. And so it just doesn't, and then let's see if it, yeah, here we go. So you see how it also strobes. So it's just not as fun as this one that just keeps his luminous shape. And then look at how hot the feet are, because there's a actual whole light area here. So I wasn't a fan of that. You know, it's kind of the Christmas ornament color. You see him changing color now. So I wasn't a fan of that, really. See, the blue is kind of pretty. There we go. This one here, and I'm going to cut to my camera here so you can see him a little better. This one here was originally, how about if we painted a ghost, okay? But it's kind of strange. I found it to be a bit odd. Okay, so that, you know, I like the BlackLight ghost better, and then the BlackLight. I just thought it would be a better, but this is what an art proof is. You go A, B, C, D, you say no, you know, you say this one and this very bright light, you go, no, don't like that either. So no, yes. Okay. Yes. And then when I was looking for something that was a little more, because I had a lot of people who love the ghost, but the price point was a little prohibitive at $1,300, $1,299 if you want to get specific. I decided to figure out with my team if we could figure out, and that's how the BlackLight ghosts were born. And here again is BlackLight Ezra. So he just has a really fun, interesting color when he's not BlackLight. And then when you hit him with the BlackLight, he has a real interesting color as well. So you, like I said, you can go to terrihardin.com and take a look at this stuff. We don't clamp it down on you, and you know, you're always willing to shop. There's no harm in taking a look and seeing what it's like. But that's what I wanted to share with you today, was just the process from going from something like these, where you're challenged, to then finally coming up with this. And then we have another challenge, you know, COVID, price point, whatever. And from it comes a happy accident. This is the happy accident. So these are the two that are available. They're both a lot of fun. They're both really pretty, and they both have super cool presentations. So you'll really enjoy the experience when you get the opportunity to experience them. And so if you love the ghost, this is your opportunity to embrace the ghost. And I thought today I would share that with you because I thought it would be a good thing. Yeah, I'm going to put them aside just so they stay safe. I tend to be an arm waver, so I don't want to damage them. I don't want them to get into any kind of, I don't want to knock them over, because I do hang on to my ghosts. I do hang on to my hitchhiking ghosts. So I don't, and this one is an art proof too. Again, a lot of people that I asked, what do you think, said it looked a little Walmart, a little Hallmark, and didn't really look like the value of what you guys are used to seeing from me. So that art proof was axed as well. That's the idea. That's what I go for. That's what I'm looking for, is a presentation that dazzles you and, makes you feel just, well, good. And then if you're someone who is having a struggle with COVID, or you're challenged with whatever challenges you have, I don't want you to be really sad because you can't have it. And so this is why I came up with this really beautiful pin, was because, this gives you the opportunity, to have, you like the shape of them and everything. I'm really proud of this pin, guys. I'm really super proud of this pin. It's huge. Look at that. Look at that. And it glows in the dark. So it is just, and it really is magnificent. When you get to see it, it's really magnificent. And I'm very, very proud of it. So if I put it here for you to see, and I bring my light in, you can see just how the silver, look at that. Oh, it's just so pretty. It's so, so cool. Yeah. So there you have it. What else am I up to? I'm always up to something. Yeah. There's a few things in the future. Many of you have been asking me about the Rowley Crump chess set. This is beginning to feel like the ghosts because the Rowley Crump chess set was actually introduced and created by Rowley and I, the idea. I went to see Rowley about 15 years ago, and we came up with this great idea for the chess set. The problem was at the time that there were some circumstances, just like the ghosts 2 years ago, that would not allow me to do it. Now I can do them, this Rowley Crump chess set, but Rowley has his heart set on them being 5 inches tall, probably close to the size of Ezra here. Maybe a little shorter, but you get the idea. Let me just put them here. So when you think about chess pieces like this, if you think of this as a chess piece, the squares are going to be 2.5 by 2.5 at least. So that makes a huge chessboard, and a giant chessboard, handmade, and then the chess pieces handmade. We're talking, you think 1,300 is high for the Illuminating Hitchhiking Ghosts. These are going to be a lot more expensive. They just are. So I'm going to have to limit how many I make. And this is where Rowley and I are having the discussion now. Here's what I'm thinking. And I think I mentioned this before, but allow me to mention it again. And I'd love for you to chime in. I'd love for you to give me your opinion of stuff like this, because this would really be helpful to me. And that is, I'm thinking of selling the chess pieces one at a time. So instead of offering you the set for like 10 grand, I'm not kidding. It could go that high, guys, depending on the edition. It's an exclusive Rowley chess set, and I'm thinking of making the board roll up. And then those of you who want a board, I'm talking with Rowley about a special board. But again, we're going to have to see how many of you out there are willing to do this. But if I sell the pieces individually, you could purchase what you like to put up on a shelf in a case. You could get the representation of, like, if you like the light set or the dark set, because we're going to do a light and a dark set, obviously. Or you have a piece you like, maybe you buy just one. So that's what we're thinking about, okay? They're very delicate. They're very fragile. And yeah, it's a challenge. So allow me, I will show you what these look like. In case some of you are new, if you're just joining me, feel free to put in the comments, but Rowley Crump, a Disney legend. He's done a lot of the stuff in the Haunted Mansion. He's done a lot Small World with Mary Blair. The guy is amazing, and he has a very different way of looking at things, which I like. Kind of a Nightmare Before Christmas kind of a vibe, except for way before Tim Burton came up with his characters. So allow me just to go back to my desk. This is my envelope that has it inside. And I'll pull out. So this was sent to me by Rowley. And Rowley sent me this 15 years ago. Yeah, I think 15 years ago. Let's see. Does it have a date? Yeah, about 15 years ago. 05. But it just like really good soup, gets better with age. So here is Rowley's letter to me. Here you go. Have fun. And then these are the characters. So this is the pawn. And these are actual size, okay? So these are his Theater of the Absurd characters, the Museum of the Weird, as he likes to call them. So you're looking at the king, the queen, the rook, the knight, and the bishop. All right. Now, what he did is the silhouettes to let me know. And he says, these sketches of the pieces are approximately the size and scale of the piece that he wants. They can change as they're being sculpted. So he's giving me a little leeway. But honestly, he wants them close to this. And when I do stuff like this, I want him to be happy. And you'll show you here. Here's the square he wants. Here's the normal square. So in order for it to fit in a normal chessboard square, I got to make them smaller. And he doesn't really want that. So let me just take a ruler here and show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So here you can see, well, maybe that's not the right ruler. I'll use this guy. I think you can see the inches on it better, right? So if I put this here like this, you can see that the square he's got here is 2.5. See right there, 2.5 by 2.5 square. That makes a big chessboard. Okay, that makes a big chessboard. If we look at the height, let me just turn this a little easier for me to maneuver. If I do the height of this, the pawns are 3 inches tall. There's the 3 inches tall, okay? But these, if we take the rook from base to height, you're looking at 4.5 inches tall. You're looking at close to 5.5 inches tall. Again, 5.5 inches tall. Close to 5 inches tall. And again, close to 5 inches tall. So basically the medium height is 5 inches tall. And this is really what makes him happy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they're very detailed. They're very detailed. Very detailed. I'm up to the task. Okay, I can do this, all right? But they are detailed. So let me show you a few of the pieces. Let me just show you. See, because as a sculptor, I can't just do this here, okay? I can't just make this. This is fragile. If you're grabbing this and moving it across a chessboard, if you're, moving this around, it's gonna break. And then when you see his detail drawing right here, look at this. Look at all of this delicate spindly. So my job as a sculptor is gonna be to figure out, sorry about that. My job is going to be to figure out how this transitions, makes the move into a chess piece, okay? Something that if we used Ezra as the chess piece, you could move around without breaking it. But you have all of these super delicate pieces here. Look. I mean, that's delicate. So we want to keep the integrity of this character, but we can't have it this fragile. All right. Now, maybe what might be fun is stuff actually hanging off here. These are little bells. You can see that. I'll cut back to camera 2 and you can see these are little bells that are hanging up. But I don't know if I'm going to do that because, again, look at how thin this is. And then you put it next to this. Now he's even beefed this up a little bit because he knows that, right? And he's also done a nice base here where I could do those nice spindly legs married to the base, but I have to find a third point of base or this would just snap. You follow me? Those of you who sculpt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you have something with only 2 points, it could break this way, especially if you're moving it around the chessboard, right? So I have to find a 3-point base. I have to figure it out. So that's one of the reasons that these pieces have been a little bit delayed, is because, you've got this super detail right here. And then, look at the queen, guys. I mean, seriously. Fun to sculpt. Trust me. But look at this detail. All right. Unbelievable. Okay. Look at this. Sally from Nightmare has nothing on these legs, right? So I have to figure this out. Okay. But I can do a 3-point stance like I'm talking about. Okay. Because I can use her hair right here. You see? If we cut back to camera 2, shed a light on the subject, and I illustrate this a little bit more, I can use this hair right here to be the 3rd point that can touch behind her, that can reinforce her legs, because hair is organic. Again, the idea is to not copy this, but to feel the essence of that. Does that sound a little ethereal? But that's exactly it. If you come back to these ghosts, if you look at the classic Hitchhiking ghost, he's leaning, right? And the whole thing, the legs are separated. Most of you ghosters out there that collect these, but I needed, and this has a 2-point stance, but it has a 3-point. See how the feet? So the feet create a solid base right here. So that makes sure, when you pick him up, he doesn't go, okay? But if it was the Hitchhiking one, you see, those are the kind of things I got to work on. Plus, with the ghost, I needed the light to travel all the way up to the head. And so if the legs are separate, how do the lights work? If he's leaning like this with his legs separate and his arms all the way out here, how is the light traveling? Okay, you understand? So that's one of the reasons that it's not a speedy thing with me as far as creating these characters and these things for you to collect. There's a lot of thought that goes into it. And the reason there's a lot of thought that goes into it is because I want you to have some quality stuff. I want you to have stuff you can hand down to your children if they're interested, and that you can collect and savor and enjoy because of the benefit of dropping everything. Because it's art. It's real art. It's going to appreciate like art. It's going to be gallery worthy, my opinion, of course, and stuff like that. That's the goals that I reach out for. The other thing that's about me that I don't know if I've ever shared with you guys is that I only do a couple things a year. And the reason I do is because everything that has my name on it, sculpturally, I sculpted. Okay. You'll find that there are things that other sculptors have done or other companies, okay, where they've designed it. They haven't actually done all the paintings, and they haven't actually done all the drawings, and they haven't actually done all the sculpting. And that is their positioning. Okay, so Bob Oshevsky and I once had lunch, and Oshevsky's the one who does those really nice light boxes and used to do those little story time things that were so cute and lovely. He's a very talented sculptor, and he sculpts really tiny. In fact, he's the one who inspired me to sculpt really tiny. And he said, I'd never make my $1 million if I sculpted everything myself, because you have to hire other sculptors to work to create the full company. And I personally, you can maybe think I'm too much of a control freak. You might be saying you're too much of a control freak to do that. Maybe I am. But I feel, for me personally, this is not dissing anybody else. A person is perfectly allowed to create a company where they have designed a product and others are making it. That's very smart. But when it comes to my sculpture, like for example, these pins, okay? These pins are a perfect example. I'm not doing every single pin, but it comes from my original drawing. So my original drawing happens. Thank the Lord for tea. Just love it. Okay. Okay. So the thing about this pin is, and I'm just going to use it to illustrate as I talk to you about it. The thing about this pin is that, whoops, wrong camera. Right camera. Okay, so I did this illustration and then I sent it to someone who really knows pins. Okay. And then we manufactured a lot of them. Okay. And this is what's called an open edition. On the back, it's embossed with my name and I sign it underneath. In fact, you'll see how I sign it here. It may be hard to see, but there's my embossed signature and then there's me having signed it underneath. And this is the way you get it when you order one. I also like the idea that it has these beautiful, they, instead of the black at the back, they use these light blue. I think that's a nice touch, a very caring touch. Okay. But this is from my drawing and then someone else makes it. So understand me, allow me to be as crystal as I can. I have to do the foundation sculpture. It has to come from my hands. I cannot hire somebody else. Like, let's say you're a sculptor, you came and worked for me, and I took your sculpture, put my name on it, and distributed it. For a lot of sculptors, this is their life. They don't get credit for the sculptures they do because they're working for companies that their policy is not to name who you are. There's companies that do, like Hallmark. They often show you the artists who do the illustrations and the sculptors who do the sculptures of the Christmas ornaments, and they give credit what credit is due, and I think that's really great. But if it's got my name on it, Terri Hardin, I have to have sculpted it, okay? It's just me. I have to have initially drawn it, initially sculpted it. I have to have done it. And I can't bring another sculptor in. He or she could not sculpt like me. And therefore, it's going to be very difficult to them to duplicate my style because I'm me and they're them. And then it's not right for them to not be able to have credit for their work. So what I might do is maybe if there's a sculpture that I like by somebody else, I might say Terri Hardin introduces the blah, blah, blah sculpture. But most of the time, it's just me and my two little hands, which is why I do only 1 or 2 sculptures a year, sometimes 3, depending on what it is. That's also why I limit the edition to 50, because limiting the edition to 50 makes it so that, you know, act fast, and also makes it easier for my little company because we've got a manufacturer who manufactures small amounts, detailed amounts, and we've got painters who paint small amounts. We don't want to make them crazy. And I'm not Hallmark. I'm not Inesco. I am Terri Hardin, just a sculptor who does a few pieces. And then if you love my style, I also offer one of a kinds that I can do for you. So I know maybe this is kind of a weird thing to talk about, but it's just all of the thought processes that go in an artist's head when you're creating something. It's you know, cool that you make something, but then it's nice to have a little experience around it if you possibly could do it, like my illuminating. I mean, like my BlackLight ghost. The box is just as fun as the ghosts, and the illuminating ghost, the box is just as fun as the ghost and the experience. So you get the whole shenanigans, if you will, the whole ball of wax. Okay. Let me go over to your comments. I know some of you are kind of like, wow, I don't, you know, maybe you're thinking, wow, this is an awful lot for me to digest on a Monday. It's an awful lot. And I was thinking about it the other day. It's just that, you know, when you have integrity, there's integrity that you have to, you know, you have to go with. So, so that's me. That's why it is the way it is. Things take me a little bit longer because I am, you know, painstakingly. And I think if you've been to a gallery and you've seen the pieces that you see in the gallery, they're one of a kinds, or they're a small edition size, a print or something, and the person will tell you the same thing. You know, these are special. So I have to be careful. It's not good to oversaturate the market with stuff. You know, that's what happened to Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies became this craze. And then the next thing you know, Beanie Babies crashed and people, you know, now repurpose them for something else. You know, they don't even care about Beanie Babies anymore. It's because there were just too many of them put out on the market. So as an artist, you got to kind of create that balance. If you're going to do something, make sure that the market will bear it, that people will really want to have it, and that's the research that you do. So, okay, enough of that. Let's go to your comments and see what you got going on. Okay. Good morning, Nate. Good morning. Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. And I saw you ordered a pin. I ship it out today. So look, I'll send you I'll try to remember, it's not that I will forget, but what's happening with my post office that I think is cool, and I hope it continues, is before I can get you the tracking number, it's pretty much in your house. So I hope it's that fast. Hi, Bonnie, and thank you. Grim Grinning Tracy. Hello, Grim Grinning Tracy. Good morning. How are you? This gives me great joy to chat with you here and talk to you. Morning again. Hello, Deanna. Oh, thank you, Janny. Aren't they fun? They're really fun. And you can also just kind of I don't know what else to say, but thank you. I'm going to say thank you, Janny, for that. But isn't it fun? The box is just as fun as the pieces inside. Well, maybe not. Angie says she wants the box. See what I mean? I may have a few extra boxes of some of these, but that'll happen way down the line. If I do, I'll let you know. Okay. I will. I'll let you know down the line. Detail makes everything packaging to the actual. Thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate that. Will you be making any Disney princess sculptures? May Yang. Who's your favorite? May, will you tell me who you would like to see? Here's the thing. You make a suggestion and everybody goes, ooh la la. You get to purchase number one. So Joshua Schaefer came out with the Hitchhiking Ghosts, and I made poor Joshua wait over 2 years. The reason we had to wait over 2 years is because I went from a little disc hearing aid battery, which was annoying to me. I don't know how you feel about trying to find one of these, to AAAs, which everybody has, which is why in these ghosts, what makes it so special is if you twist this open, you will see that there's AAA batteries in the back. Easy to install, instead of that trying to find where the heck do you find that little hearing aid battery, blah, blah, blah. These are readily available. Okay. So that's why it took some time, because the electronics weren't really getting small enough until just about a year ago, a little over, to where they were affordable, and, affordable meaning that, $1,299, but affordable and to do. That was affordable. Before, you don't even want to know what these ghosts could have cost, but luckily they don't. So May, what I'm trying to say is, and I'm not doing a very good job of it, is tell me what princess you like and let everybody know in the comments, and they may say, ooh. So that's what happened with Figment, is that, and I cannot remember who off the top of my head. I wrote down who suggested Figment, but Figment was suggested because people were saying there's not a good representation of this character anywhere for people to collect. That you might have mouse ears, sort of. You might have dolls, plush, that are pretty cute. But as far as the sculpture goes, people are saying they just don't feel it. And that's very important. If you're a collector of something that you love, you want to feel it as well as just see it. This is the same with the Cheshire Cat. My friend Josie Katz, who wants a Cheshire Cat by me, she wants it because she has a huge collection of Cheshire Cats. And sculptors who create some of these things tend to copy the character. Nothing wrong with that, because you want it on model. Okay, on model meaning it's got to look like the version, right? But you can do your impression of it that is also on model. That's more complicated. But again, if I come back to this ghost, he's on model, but he's not doing the same pose. Okay? And that's because that's what I do. I've been a Disney sculptor for years, and I really have ability to nail them on model. It's a talent that I have, and it's not bragging. It just is. Many companies, when I was working for Mattel, Applause, Inesco, blah, 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 Disney, etc., always brought me in to sculpt these figurines because I could just get it done. And very little changes. Mattel loved the fact that when I was doing books and things with Tigger and other characters, that Disney didn't have a lot of changes to do. There were always a few, but that's just you have your abilities. That's mine. Okay. Nail these characters. But what's really great is I can swim in the waters of your character and create something that you don't have. So in the case of Stitch or any of these characters, actually, and let me just, I'm going to take my iPad and I'm going to pull up a couple for you so you can see, so I can actually, and my Dragon's Lair, same thing. My Dragon's Lair, it was all about, I love dragons, so I did a Dragon's Lair. Okay, I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to, and many have asked for the child. Right now, I'm a little resistant on creating Grogu because there's a lot of stuff out there that I think they did really well. One of the things that makes me create stuff is that I get irritated at the product that's coming out. I get cranky. Like, for example, if it's not available. Okay, so I'm going to just, I'm doing this the long way. And I do all sizes. So let me show you. This I did. Oops, not those guys. I have to make sure that I have the right thing plugged in. Technology. What are we going to do? Okay. All right. So this right here is a Cinderella head I did. This is a number 2 pencil eraser. So when I say I work small, I work small. But this was for Tokyo. I did a full-on Cinderella character. And for Tokyo, this is Peter. A little Peter Pan action. Oh, that's something different. Appearance, But anyway, so I'm digressing. I wanted to show you some of my characters. So let me just get to them. Let me just find my guys here. I think I'm going to have to do something a little more specific. So let me just go in here and I'll show you a little more specific, a little easier when I've got less pictures to thumb through. But if I thumb through them for you, you'll see that I easily can say everything I create. Here's a Tinkerbell I did for Disney. And you can see here that she has a very specific look. That's because Mark Davis's wife, Alice Davis, she sent me the turnarounds, meaning Mark Davis's actual sketches were sent to me to create this Tinkerbell. She's tiptoeing across the map because many Tinkerbell people said that they wanted something different in their collection, and this is what I came up with. In the back, you'll see an army of Stitch. See them all looking? See their little melancholy faces? They're so precious and cute. Yeah, and the idea was to create something that you guys could appreciate and love. So here we go. Here he is. Okay, so here's my Stitch. And what people asked for, you, the collector, asked for, is a Stitch that wasn't angry and wasn't smiling because you love the entire movie. So you love the entire movie. You wanted sort of you love all aspects of Stitch, all aspects of Lilo and Stitch. That the tugs at your heart when he's sad are just as important as when he gets crazy and happy. So that's why you get the impression. This Stitch, he carries the book, as you remember, and climbs out. But there's never a situation where he's looking up very sadly at you with the little book and the little duck. So I put the book in his hands because I felt this fit the character. And it obviously did because Stitch sold out very, very quickly. Here's Jiminy Cricket Jiminy Cricket was done because a lady said she loved Jiminy Cricket, and she had not seen the hobo Jiminy Cricket since 1994. So I checked with Jiminy Cricket people, and they all said the same thing. Now, here is the whole experience of this box. You'll notice that next to his hand is the little sticker, "A cricket can't be too careful." That's what it's called with a sketch I've done. And then above, you'll see the star paper right here. That's the "When You Wish Upon a Star" wrapping paper. I think I did an edition of 100 of these. I have 6 left. So this is the idea here when we're doing it. And that's why I'm saying, May, if you want a princess and you suggest it, you get the right to have the original. And I'm going to show you my clays now. So these are the sizes and the clays of my characters, all sculpted by myself. Remy was the first. And then this is my Jiminy, and then my Stitch. And you can see those are the clays. I use a Chavant to do that, okay? And in the corner over here, you see this is one of the most popular Jiminy's, the Conscience, when he's wearing the tail and the top hat. So that's what she said. She said she really wanted the hobo one, okay? So, yeah. Tracy says, "I like the painted version. It's like seeing Ezra in his pre-ghostly real clothing." Pretty wild, huh? And maybe if enough people like it, we'll do him someday like that. We'll paint him up, you know? Or if you're really in love and you want to, you could buy that art proof. They are available, but like I said, they are a bit. The art proofs are very pricey because there's only one. It has a lot of my tool marks, demarcations. The clays I rarely sell, but excuse me, I'm going to go get a cup of tea. Well, that's still pretty warm. The thing is that some people have purchased my clays, but the clays are really expensive. They're super rare. Tony Baxter has, y'all know Tony. Tony Baxter has my clay. Clay has a wax, because I work in wax, and has the finished of my Maleficent. I thought he should have it because he's the one that got me on the path of doing collectibles. Thank you, Tony Baxter. Also, we have Liz Bradley, who you saw that Tinkerbell. Well, that Tinkerbell, there we go. Thank you very much. That Tinkerbell, there we go. That Tinkerbell came up with a team of Tinkerbell people. A lot of Tinkerbell people came and they said, I had to ask them because I saw so much Tinkerbell. I didn't know what to do about Tinkerbell. How do I make a Tinkerbell for you that have every Tinkerbell? This is my question. So there I was wondering, what do I do with that? Just making myself a little tea here. So forgive me if you watch me make my tea. Yay, watch me make my tea. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Anyway, so I ask you when it happens. So again, May, that's why I'm saying, if you have something that you want and you think it should be in the Illuminations collection, you make the suggestion, and if everybody loves it, and enough people want it, like Groot, then that's what happens. And Groot, again, was one that was very casual, relaxed, didn't necessarily have, it didn't necessarily copy from any scene of Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't do that. I think a sculptor at least for me, it's more fun if I create something that, here he is. So I'll show you his clay first. Here's the clay I did of him. And you see, he's kind of just casually reclining as if he's looking up at you with a happy face, and then painted, that's the way he looks. So he's just got a real nice, happy face, and he's looking up at you, hopeful, I think, is what I'm thinking about him, is he looks up at you with a hopeful expression. He's only about that big, and he was $195 and he sold out. So he went very quickly. And now people are saying, Grogu, Grogu, Grogu. And I'm not saying no to Grogu. I'm just saying, let's wait, because you guys got a lot of cool Grogus happening. So I know how much you love this character, but if I do something about Grogu, I want it to be a little different. So when you look at the shelf of everything, every Grogu in America that you have, Baby Yoda, if you just don't understand what Grogu is, or you think I'm talking about a type of yogurt, I'm actually talking about the character from Mandalorian. And many of you may have an idea of what you want. Okay. So that's the idea. Oh, thank goodness for tea. But anyway, that's the gist of it. That's the gist of it. So May, I want to thank you, and I would love to hear what kind of princess you'd like. Yeah. There's all, that's the thing, is that there's all types of cool ideas that can happen. And so with the Rowley Crump chess set, if I can make it so that maybe I can't even imagine. I mean, I'm not going to quote a price on this because I have to sculpt one. And I'm supposed to talk with Rowley this week. Fingers crossed, everybody, that I can get a hold of him and his beautiful wife and see if I can I've got a few questions before I get started with him as to, first of all, are you okay if I sell it one chess piece at a time and it becomes this thing that happens over the course of a couple of years? Otherwise it's going to be 10 sets. Let's say we do 10 sets. They're going to be thousands of dollars, guys. The chess set is just going to be, it's just going to be, I look at it. I think that's one of the reasons that's got me a little hesitant, because right now it's COVID-19, and COVID-19, people are working hard to find a place to live and eat, keep the place they live and eat. So I've got to be cognizant of that. The ghosts came out because people encouraged, they just said, please do these ghosts. We need something to look at and be happy with. And if you saw one of my broadcasts where I talked about Kevin Wiedenweber, who is struggling health-wise, these ghosts he said, are helping me stay confident, stay positive, and stay, focused on my health situation at hand. So that makes me just do it. So, but yeah, earlier in last year, I didn't even realize it. I did Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, and poof, he went just as fast. So you guys, we're thinking about it. I ask you guys are such a good collaborative group, so I appreciate it. Because for someone like myself, I would really just want the two Maleficents. Yeah, right? And I think it was you, wasn't it, Nate, that I had to give you? Yeah, I had to give you. He found my Maleficent sculpture. Nate found my sculpture of Maleficent very popular. I did it for a villains event, and it's very popular if you can find it. A lot of people will not. I'm trying to see if I can find her in here so I can actually give you a visual aid of what she looks like. Those of you who do not happen to own her. Let me see if I can find her in here. 50-50 chance that I might be able to find this lady. Villains are most elusive. Let's see if I can find her, though. She is really keeping to herself. My Maleficent is keeping to herself today. I do not see the lady. Let's see. I'm still looking. Just going to look a little bit more. See if I can find her. Oh my goodness. What a day, huh? I'm trying to see if I can find her, but she's a little bit. I will find her because I'm really surprised she's not in here. She's super, super. She was very, very rare. And I say rare because she was designed for a villain's event. You remember that pin, that Disney pin where Maleficent was it was like the big dragon behind her, and then it's her in front. It runs about $600 if you can find it on eBay. Maybe even $800 now. I have one. And these were given to us at this special villains event at Disney for pass holders. And as I'm looking, I'm going to go into the full-on photos just because I'm going to see if she's in there. But as I'm looking, I designed her because there was this amazing lady named Linda, and Linda had this brilliant idea of maybe me doing a sketch for the villains event. And what would happen is if you were a pass holder and you got there late, most of the stuff was sold out or picked through. And many people said, hey, it sure would be nice. While I'm on the subject, here, let me show you. So this is the way the classic ghosts look. You see how their legs are separated, etc., etc. Gus is holding the ball up. So this is why I changed them to look like the way I did them, okay? A, because I need light to come up through them if I'm going to do illuminating ones. B, so that they're more stable. And C, because they're different. Want to make them different. So when you look at them on the shelves, you can step way back, if you will, and say, look, Terri Hardin did those, and I invested in them. And I thank you for that. Okay, so I'm still looking for Maleficent here because I'd really love to prove a point. And, but she, being a villain, may have her own ideas. But let's see if I can find her. Sweetie, where the heck are you? Ah, no, that was Tinkerbell. How can I mistake Tinkerbell and Maleficent? That's really silly. Okay, I'm still looking. No, I can't even believe that I don't have her in here. Either that or she's hiding. She's using her powers. I mean, she is, the number one enchantress, force of evil, right? But I'm not seeing her. I'm going to go one more time very slowly and see if I can find her. But anyway, Maleficent was someone I was starting to talk about, Nate and Maleficent. Maleficent had a plaque that we put on the bottom. It was and I'll show you on the AMA. I'll make sure that I have her for the AMA so that you guys can see what I'm talking about. But she was on a base that's like a picture frame. It was kind of a weird idea Disney had when they were showing her off. I thought it was kind of strange, but they wanted to do this. I was going to do just the Maleficent and then all of the information stamped on the bottom of her skirt. But Disney wanted to create a frame that she was sat on. And that's how that happened. Once you give Disney a piece of your sculpture and they present it to the world, they have the right to do it however they want to. I'm just not seeing her. She is my elusive lady. So I will make sure I find a picture of her. I know she's in here somewhere. She's good at hiding. That's all I'm going to say about that. She's very good at hiding for me right now. Wow, girl, that is really funny that I cannot find her anywhere. Okay, let me go back down to my albums. I just can't believe I can't find this lady. That is so funny that she is not anywhere in here to be seen. And she is one of my most popular creation sculptures / blah, blah, blah. That's just really funny that she's not in here at all. That is so weird. All right. Well, I'll find her. Show you Friday. Okay. I'll show you Friday. Anyway, she has a base and it's a gold, like a picture frame set on its back. And then she sits on top and then I sign the base like that. And it just sort of creates a perimeter around her because she's a very delicate piece. So because she's such a delicate sculpture, I think Disney maybe thought that they wanted to protect her in some way. And they wanted to make sure that she had, I think, this around her to make sure that she was, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to get to that I'm not doing very good job of is that there was a gold plaque that went on there, like on a trophy. And it said how many of them there were. It said why she was created and made. It said, it spoke of, Maleficent, villains of it, date, the usual. So Nate finds one. Okay, Nate Singleton, he finds one right here when he's talking about the two Maleficents. Nate, I mean, he's not talking about that one, but this brought the story in my head. So Nate comes up with this, he writes me and he says, I found one, and he sends me the picture, and I go, yeah, that's her. But he says, hey, I was looking at an image of her and I see it has got this gold plaque. That's the way you collectors are. And his didn't have it. Where was his? Where? So I have an art proof here at my house, and I simply peeled off my gold plaque label and sent it to Nate. Now, I don't have a lot of them. I don't have any in stock. It's just that I have one that was my art proof, and it had that on there. So for me, I'm the artist, and it's the art proof. So it doesn't matter. You guys are going to grab the art proof anyway if I sell it, right? But Nate is a collector, and when you're a collector, I don't need to tell you, it's got to be complete. So I sent it to him. That's why you reach out. If your pieces break, could you make the chess set in different sizes, large and small? Yeah, Angie, that might be nice, but it would depend on if there's a market for it again. Also, because it's a Rowley Crump chess set, and Angie, it's a very good question. Because it's a Rowley Crump chess set, he may not approve a smaller one. Okay. So when I do something that's out of my head, okay, I'm going to do a Cheshire Cat or Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which I did at the beginning of the year last year to celebrate Diana Waller. That's coming all from me. And then I'm asking you guys questions, but it's all coming from me. But when I get with another legend/artist, and in the case of Rowley, this is his art, and I am the hands through which he sculpts pretty much. So he's really seems to be adverse to small. Okay. He really wants it larger. So this is my struggle. Because if I made him smaller, I could use a classic chess set board. Yeah. And a classic chess set board is what? Like you guys that are out there that play chess really well, it's like this. Okay. So that it's doable. I could actually find a really nice maker of chessboards that are in the regular size and probably add that to the whole overall set, right? But Rowley really wants the bigger one. And when you make it larger, it's got to have a card table, pretty much a card table, right, guys? That's big. It's big. It's kind of like Bob Oshevsky's Disneyland he was going to do. You needed a room. And so Bob sort of looked at his first original idea, which was brilliant, and said, this isn't cost effective. There's not enough people who are going to want, you all are going to want to have Disneyland in miniature in your house. Let's be real. But Bob Oshevsky realized you don't all have room for such a thing. So he recreated, let's say he redesigned his idea, and he did Main Street, a full-on Main Street. Many of you have this full-on Main Street, and it still takes up a lot. But he also did a few special ride and attractions that you can, like the Haunted Mansion, where you can change the scene, which I just think is a brilliant design idea. Bob comes up with some super cool stuff. The little frames, for example, are just off the chain. I just think those little vignettes that he does, his company does, are just beautiful. So my point is that when you are doing something that the base, it's based on someone who, the art of a legend in the case of Rowley. And Rowley's got stuff I really loved, which is why I went to him. The other person I went to was Alice Davis. I wanted to create a series of Small World dolls that were actually Small World dolls. And she was kind of interested at the time, but didn't really want to move forward in that. That was also about 15 years ago. I may still do it and acknowledge her, but right now she's working with some stuff. She's got stuff happening. So it's just a matter of if I can get a hold of her and she wants to do it. Yeah, I'm more than happy to be the person to do that. And then she would oversee the whole thing. And if she didn't, I would do it in the spirit of her, depending on, how she's feeling about it. She may just say, do it. And here's a few sketches and whatever. I should reach out to her because I think Small World is beautiful, but to have them, through Alice's vision, and Alice sewed, embroidered, she, Alice Davis, she's a genius. So to have her mind as part of it to collaborate with is something that I would love to do. And that's how Rowley and I connected, was because I just fell in love with the theater of the weird and of the absurd. And I just couldn't get it out of my head. So I asked to meet him, and he had me at his house, and just loved my work and said, I'd love to collaborate with you, but not now. That was 15 years ago. And then he had his show down in Oceanside. If you're in California, you may have gone and seen it. It was beautiful. And we had another conversation, and he said, Terri, now's the time. Go for it. And that was a couple of years ago. But then it was this inner thing with me and the size. So I was trying to figure out, I can't do the entire set and that size. It could be $10, $12, $15,000. And then how many do I make? 2? That's the question. Hey, Lynette. Then what do you do with the odd pieces from broken up sets? Well, then that's the thing, right? We would probably have a pre-order, and people would tell me, do they want a white set? Do they want a black set? Or are you all falling in love with the queen? Okay. What would happen is that they might end up being representations of a chess set if we're doing them one at a time, right? I will sculpt every single one of them. All right. I want people to be able to see, especially Rowley, what they're going to be, him make his changes and his alterations. And then we have a discussion of what kind of price point we're going to do. And that means I got to get with my what's going to take to build it, what's going to take to make it. One of the things that I think is really helpful, and that's what came from you guys, is the chessboard being something you roll up. Maybe it's magnetic and it, or it's weighted or something, or it's a piece of, kind of like those puzzle. When you're putting a puzzle together, you roll the puzzle up in that what is that called? That thing. So that's where I kind of got the idea of it. And that way that could be included with your set. You get the whole set, you get that with it, So this is the thing. This is the thought process. This is the challenge that I'm having with this. And because I have another artist that I'm involved with, this is why I haven't made super commitment right now, because I need to speak with him. So that's kind of something that can happen. If you collaborate with someone, they have their vision. And Lynette, thank you for piping in. But Lynette here, who's got this comment right here, she and I have done a lot of things for people in the film industry that we created, and they come up with some wacky stuff. She and I created this walk around character for Pizza Hut, and they were going to do like a macaroni kind of thing, like, based on pasta. And we did, you remember this, Lynette? We did this macaroni noodle, and both of us thought, macaroni noodle in that sort of macaroni color, you know what I mean? And this woman wanted red, which Lynette made very clear would look like a ketchup squirt, but she could not get off of red. She wanted it red. She thought red said, get this, guys, if you're an artist, someone says they want you to do something, and what they really want is you to keep it fresh. What the heck does that mean? So she and I did the best we could, but needless to say, those restaurants really, I don't know that macaroni thing ever went on. We built it. She liked it. I don't know the poor soul who had to wear it, but the point is that people, when you're doing something for someone specifically, they're going to have their own ideas, and you've got to be cognizant of their ideas because they're the ones that are creating with you. And that can be fun, and that can be a little interesting and challenging. Are the illuminated and blacklight ghosts the same? Meaning just the light up is different, but faces and things are the same. Yes, they come from the same mold is what you're asking, Angie. And this was the idea, to keep the original sculpts, but produce them in a couple of versions, okay? I might even do a third version for Christmas, okay? But it'll be the same sculpt. It'll just be a different treatment. And if you think that's maybe odd or unusual, let me point out the Hitchhiking Ghosts Tiki cups, okay? Trader Sam's has introduced these Hitchhiking Ghost Tiki cups, and I think there are 10 different versions, and the only thing that Disney has changed is the color. They are the same sculpts, but there's red, blue, green, etc., etc., etc. And people go ape in not only having each color, y'all out there. Not only do you go crazy over each color, but you got to have 5 or 10 of these things. So this is what gave me the idea of creating from the same sculpt a couple of versions, so that you don't sacrifice the version, because every time I sculpt something, that adds to the cost. So the nice thing about the blacklight ghosts is they came from the sculpts, and those sculpts were already waiting to be created. So I was able to do a lesser price, quite frankly, almost half of what the price of the other one is, a little more, but the goal was to try to keep them around $600 to $800, and they ended up being $750. And that's because I'm paying a lot to have them made. Okay. So I had to do that. I got to pay myself a little bit. Sorry, I do. Lynette says, if you do this, be sure to have a certain number of sets assured not to be broken. Absolutely. Absolutely. Which is why we pre-sell. Because once I say the price, I'll be able to know by you prepaying how many actually I can make, So that's why if you're an artist, you pre-sell. Because let's say you do the sculpts and you offer them for pre-sale once you've done the prototype, like this fella here, and you all go, yuck, don't want it, and nobody buys it. Then I lay it to rest. Doesn't happen. Not going to be built. Saves me a ton of cash. Saves me a lot of heartache, because I am a little company and I don't have millions and millions and millions of dollars in a stash somewhere in a treasure chest buried in a secret islands off the coast of whatever. So that's what I do, is I create it, and then I say how many want it, and here's the cost if you want it, and then I build it. And that's what's happening with these ghosts right now. The ones that, if you are on the February shipment group, they'll go out today, which is, I know, March 1st. But, March only has 28 days, and I'm on a roll here. So, yeah, they go out today. As soon as I'm done with this, I run to the post office and send them. So, wow. Thank you, May. It's so nice of you to be a part of this, and it's so nice of you to chime in and to chat with us today. And I'm still waiting to hear what princess you'd like to see. Hello, Ava Williams-Fank. Welcome. Grim Grinning Tracy. I love your name, Tracy. It's tough. Most fans are able to get one at a time, then who could buy the set. But if too many buy one piece, will sell out, and many who want the set won't be able to, which is why Lynette Eklund said you hold some sets aside. Okay. And what I would end up doing is, at least my thought, and again, this is thoughts, I've got to run them past Rowley. Rowley may say, no, Terri, sets only. And then I won't be able to sell them one at a time. Okay. This is one of the reasons. He's got the final say, because it's his art. I'm sculpting his art. Yeah. So, but let's say he says, yeah, it's a great idea. Let's do one at a time. And you sign up for, I want the set, but the set comes out like a subscription, one a month. You get one a month. I sculpt them all, show them all to you, and you get one a month, something like that, 2 a month, something like that, depending on what their price point is. And you say, yeah, I'm going to do it. And some of you say, I want the whole set, and then I tally how many want the whole set, Tracy, and those sets get set aside. Now, my Hitchhiking Ghosts don't work that way. I only sell them in a set. Okay. They can only be bought in a set. Unless you are interested in an art proof, then the art proof you'll have only Ezra. But I only sell the ghosts in a set. They are only sets. I just felt strongly about that. But as far as the chess set, there's more than 3. The ghosts are 3. So although they're pricey, they are only 3. But you start to look at and you see what I mean. So we're going to see what they take. How many hours does it take me to come up with something that Rowley likes? Then stop. Okay? Because that will be what really does it. The caveat is he is the element that I've got to really consider. Yeah. But I will do full, people, I'll say the set will be this. And if you buy the set all at one time, you commit the set all in one time, I am going to work to give you a break on buying the set all in one time, investing in the set all in one time. Okay. So if you say, I want all, how many pieces are in a set? Off the top of my head, I cannot say. But let's say you say, I'm going to invest in the whole chess set. Okay. Right now I'm committing, then I say, okay, I'm going to cut you a break. You buy one at a time, it may cost a little bit more because the work involved and how many, that's a lot to think about. I would much rather have one from you. It means 1,000 times more than from Emporium. Oh, thank you, Tracy. What a lovely thing to say. And you are why I work so hard. That's what I'm going to say to you right now. We love you for caring enough, says Tracy, to make the pin for those of us that can never afford the set. And, I would love to take full credit for that pin, but I have to give that to Joshua Schaefer, who contacted me and said, how about making a Hitchhiking Ghost pin and it glows in the dark, and will you draw it up? And I did. I took my original drawing concept for the sculptures and I tweaked it a bit, and then I sent it to him, and then his genius tweaked it again. And so shout out to Joshua Schaefer for making that suggestion. He loves Haunted Mansion and the Hitchhiking Ghost, as many of you do. So for him to suggest something like that, it's just lovely, right? Yeah. So thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, Tracy. It's very kind. Oh, thank you, Deanna. You sure do, because you guys just keep sitting through. We're at an hour. We're just at an hour and a half almost. It touches my heart. I want to thank you. And if you're just joining us, or if you're joining us after the live, please feel free to post in the comments or whatever, because I do my best to read them, and I'm working harder to be better on channels like YouTube. But it's all a learning process for me, because I'm used to, hi, how you doing, across the table. I was raised at talking face-to-face to people, and social media becomes a challenge, and it challenges me often. So, but like many people say, if you're going to do a challenge, a channel, you're going to go live, be consistent. So that's why for the past, I think I've actually been consistent with my lives now for almost my Facebook lives and my YouTube live, which I started last year, pretty much spot on every Monday and Friday. And that's the one thing I want to do, is to come and see you or warn you when I cannot. But the goal is to be here as much as I can. Now, once the pandemic is, defeated, I will probably go back to a 1 hour Ask Me Anything and a 30-minute this kind of a thing. But for now, and because of the pandemic and people like you, Angie, who says, don't worry about the tracking info. That's her pin that she ordered. But people like you, Angie, who have said many of you have said you'd like a little longer because the pandemic is a little bit much. The stuff that's happening outside there in the cold. You'd rather sit by the warm, comfy fire and hear all these crazy and wild stories or what's happening in my crazy brain, right? Good morning, Nick. Ariel. Oh, May, you are so... You really picked a good one. So, May, I have a really lovely lady who loves Ariel, and she has been on me to do an Ariel for a while. So the two of you are going to be, I got to take a special. Gosh, she loves Ariel. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. My friend Philo Barnhart is the designer of Ariel, the Little Mermaid. It's a team of people. They do different scenes when they do the animation. And you may not know that I swam in a tank so animators could watch me. I swam in a mermaid tail like this. For Little Mermaid, they have a tank on the Imagineering property, and they knew I had a mermaid tail. So I got in it and swam in a tank while animators animated some of the swimming sequences. Speak, Terri. Sequences. I swam in a tank, and they not only filmed me, but they sat and sketched me why I kept swimming and swimming and swimming and swimming in my mermaid tail. So you never know when you build a mermaid tail like this where it's going to take you. I just wanted to be a mermaid. So my point is, May, Ariel could be on the horizon. Now, here's my question to you again, my dear May. What do you want Ariel doing that she's not already doing? Okay, I asked this of my friend Anita Shingold, who's the other one who's my big Ariel fan. Talk to me about what you are missing in your collection. Okay, what is Ariel? What about Ariel? Her emotion or her action, or where is something that you feel there's a vacancy in your collection shelf of Ariel, whether it be drawings or pins or sculptures. Okay, and that's anybody who loves Ariel out there. Talk to me about what you're missing. Okay, this is how Stitch happened. Was comments, people saying, I want more of that pensive thinking Stitch. I want Jiminy to be a little more cautious, if you will. Remy is hopeful. Baby Groot is pensive. Okay, so think about what you want from Ariel and help me with that. And I think I'd be happy to put her in the lineup, actually, because she is very popular, and I haven't done her yet. She's very, very popular, and she's very special. But talk to me. I mean, because there's all kinds of things she could be doing. But as the Little Mermaid, what's missing? What's missing with Ariel that you'd like to have? That's my question. Oh, Wally had my heart, but not sure if that would be something fun to sculpt. Everything is fun to sculpt. Okay? And Wally is the first time people have asked me to do Wally. You're the first, Bonnie. And it would depend if people are interested in Wally. And again, Bonnie, what would Wally be doing? There's a couple of things that are very cute that Wally does that I think would be really, really adorable. But what do you like and why do I ask you guys this? I ask you guys this because I can't know every character as an artist. You remember, or maybe you don't, I showed you a one-of-a-kind of Mickey and Minnie in Love. That came from someone who wanted a cake topper of Mickey and Minnie in Love, and I sat with her. She had a one-of-a-kind. This is her one-of-a-kind, and they're more expensive. I'm just telling you. If you buy a one-of-a-kind from me, there are no molds made except for my process. Then they are painted and it comes to you, and no more are made. So that's yours exclusively. There are no other on the planet. There never will be. And that's why Guillermo del Toro had me do the Pirate's Captain's Bed. And Lynette Eklund helped me with that because she's a genius when it comes to miniature fabrics. And we did one. And then poof, it's gone because Guillermo del Toro wanted it done. And so he invested a lot because he wanted real art. And thank goodness, I'm grateful. Nicolas Cage also grabbed my original of my Chernobog that I did. I had only done 5 for the villains event that I spoke of earlier. And Nicholas took the he bought the wax, which was the daddy. So he bought my actual wax sculpture with the illustration, concept illustration, and everything. He was unable to buy a painted one, but he didn't care. He wanted the original with all of my thought processes. I mark where my mold maker needs the wing, where does it need to break down as a sculpture so that it can be molded to make the other 5. And there were only 5 made of Chernobog. So Nicolas Cage has my original Chernobog. So it really depends on your passion. You want something that's just for you alone, and it doesn't have to be Disney. It can be anything. I mean, seriously, it can be anything. Before COVID-19, I was going to be commissioned to do a man cave that was based on a cave, because the guy had gone to Paris and seen my cave that I designed for my dragon's lair in Paris. So he's back east. He wanted a man cave, like a man cave, You men know what those man caves look like. But he wanted it to be a cave. So when he opened the door, it had that cave feeling, and I had drawn it up and designed it, and then COVID hit, and right now he's working to keep afloat. After it's all done, who knows? We could revisit it, but right now it's on the shelf. Nothing's ever dead. It's just kind of on the shelf. Oh, Angie, what a great idea! Mary Poppins and Bert as Dick Van Dyke and Julie Andrews, huh? And what's interesting is I was going to do a sculpture of Dick Van Dyke for him, and I wanted to do a character that he plays in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I have a real favorite, and I had this whole concept idea, and then that looked like it was going to move forward, and then it didn't. So I still have the drawings and sketches, but doggone it, didn't get to do it. And that's what happens. Some things come and some things go. But that's a great idea, Angie. That's a great idea. I don't know if there's others out there who like the idea. Annoyed Mary and Bert Covet. Oh, what fun would that be, huh? So they would have the soot and the chimney sweep that could be really fun. That's a really great idea, Angie. That could be really fun and very different from a lot of the Mary Poppins stuff that we've seen out there. I don't think I've ever seen the two of them covered in soot. Kind of fun. Grim Grinning Tracy says she asked me a lot about Bullseye, and I would still love that about Bullseye, and you offered. I would still love that. Just you offered meant the world. Yes, and Bullseye is adorable. But it can either be something that you put before the group and it's more affordable, or you can have a one-of-a-kind Bullseye and then you are the master. Okay, so I'm talking a lot about these master. Let me just see if I can. Again, she's trying, meaning me. Wow, I didn't realize that this was in here. I just found a new stream. I didn't cross the streams. I just found a new stream. So interesting. Anyway, where did that come from? All right. Okay. Sorry. I got distracted. Didn't mean to get distracted. But to answer here about Bullseye. Okay. Let's just chat a little bit about, okay, I'm in here. All albums. Where's my commissions? Oh, dear. It's been a day. Here we go. Let's see if we've got it here. It's been a day. What a day. A lot of times, if you have a budget and you want something commissioned just for you, we can talk based on your budget and the size based on your budget. Okay. So don't feel, they run a lot. Okay. If I do a one of a kind, but that doesn't mean that you're out of the running. Okay. So you can just, if you really want something of your very own, you write to me and you say, I want it. I have about this much money to spend, and we'll work it out. That's because it's you. Okay. That's why that happens that way. But I'm going to show you a couple of things that are actual commissions so you can get an idea of what I am speaking about. This one is one that's this is, people love Frozen, people love Olaf. And this one was done was done for a guy who wanted to surprise his girlfriend for her birthday. She loves Olaf. So I wanted to figure out a way that she could have something she didn't have. This is called I'll Distract Him While You Run. And Olaf is leaning against a rock. It's an actual rock, by the way. I did not sculpt that rock. I put the moss on the top, and then I sculpted the little Olaf that's leaning in. And then I made a custom birthday package out of the fabric from Frozen. And he commissioned this for her. It's exclusively for her. There are no others. That's it. And she really loved it. And so now she has her own little Olaf. She has her own little sculpture that is exclusive to her. So that's kind of what I'm talking about, is the exclusivity that you get. This is another commission piece that I did that was done. This is not Ariel. This is she had this done for her husband's birthday. She wanted it to be kind of a bronzy look, but it looks like her. It actually looks like the wife that commissioned it, because he had like 150 mermaids. So I said, how about we make this mermaid look like you? And to give you an idea, while we decided how this was going to be sculpted and done, we talked about, did she want to be topless? Because many mermaids don't wear tops. But she said no, she had grandchildren, so she wanted it to be different. So I took the coat idea from the Pirates of the Caribbean mermaids, and I'll show you. This is the back of Guillermo del Toro's piece that I did for him. I took the jacket that you see on the mermaid on the right. It's not the same. It doesn't have the epaulets and all that, but it was the influence that I did for her and that sculpture. And if you're looking at it going, wow, that's really interesting, I want you to see, let me see if I have it here. I don't know if yes, I do. Here you go. You can actually see how big that is. You see how small that is? That's like really small. It's so silly. Yeah. Any size, anytime. Yeah. Any size, anytime. So if you want something, so for example, the lady who, the couple who did the Mickey and Minnie in Love, she wanted to give her husband something really special. So this is what I did for him. Zero in the dog bed. Now, what I did not do that you don't know is this is the size of a 50-cent piece. 50-cent piece. And little dog dish is about the size of my little fingernail. So, and this is the wax that I work in. And you can see all of the different angles, how really precious he is. And this is because her husband loved Zero. And so she wanted to give it to him. I put it in a tiny little case. Her budget was her budget. So we did it to fit her budget. So if you have something that you're dreaming of, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because you just never know. Okay? No pressure, just a thought. Alice Davis is the sweetest, and I haven't gotten to speak with her, but every time I see her, she always is so kind. Yes, Deanna. Yes, indeed. And I can't, there's nothing else I can say about it. Like me wanting bullseye, tiptoeing through cheese puffs. Bingo. And one of the fun things about this, Tracy, if we did this together, we would talk about those cheese puffs, because we want to make sure those cheese puffs look cheese puffy, right? It wouldn't be like sculpture so they look like macaroni noodles. They would have to look like cheese puffs. And I have an idea on how to do that too. The same with Bullseye. He would need to look like a toy. He would need to have that toy-like feel about him, wouldn't he? So, and he's just such a lovely character. I love him just as like you said too. I think he's just lovely. Disney would never make something obscure. I get that. Absolutely. Also, Disney seems to only want to do happy, happy, or crazy. So Donald Duck is, or every once in a while, kind of happy. And Stitch is, or doing Elvis. Or he's got the six, what is it? The six forearms and the 6 arms, whatever he's got, and the guns, and he's like, crazy. So people said, I got plenty of that. And that's it. And then as when we were talking Little Mermaid, Anita said she wants a herald, the little seahorse. She says she's just missing. She just doesn't see any herald. I don't know how you feel about that, May, but she would like to see a little herald. And this is another thing. Characters that maybe get a little bit forgotten or overlooked, better word, overlooked. Like the fairy godmother from Cinderella. I've really got to do that. I've had so many people request the fairy godmother from Cinderella, and I'm kind of like, why? But many of you out there have told me it's because you become godmothers to the children. And it would be nice for you if you're a woman who's had a little baby and you want to give something special to the godmother, this could be something to give to the godparents. Is this godmother, fairy godmother from Cinderella? And I was like, wow, I had never thought of that. Will I create her? I got to think about it, because again, how many of you are there out there that want her? So, here's the thing, Tracy, about Margaret Carey. I'm glad you brought her up. Margaret Carey not only got a tink, but Margaret Carey has signed a ton of my tinks. Yeah, my Tinkerbells. She signs one side, a dedicated side for Margaret Carey to sign, and I sign the other. And I think there were 2,500 of this made. Disney made 2,500 of the Tiptoeing Across the Map Tinkerbell that I showed earlier. And the cool thing about that is if you can find her under a couple $100, grab her, especially if she's signed. And then, hit me up and we'll figure out a way, when we can get together again. I'm more than happy to sign, and I'll be more specific about that. But during a candlelight, Margaret and I were both at a candlelight. I think it was like 2004, might have been 2005, but I think it was 2004. And we were at the Disneyana store on Main Street, and they brought out they must have brought out about 50 of these things, and people bought them, and Margaret and I signed them right there, standing there, and signed them, and they took pictures with us and everything during candlelight at Disneyland. So Margaret and I are very close. So yeah, she's got hers, and then she added her signature to it, and people, and this brings up another point. If it should fall and break and you have a piece that is signed by me and or Margaret or whatever, but it's my art piece, collect it carefully and then let me know and send it to me. Don't throw it away, because if I repair it, I'll charge you a little bit to repair it. It won't be free, but I can restore it to its original state, and it'll be just like it hasn't broken. So we had a guy, a really sweet guy, that was with a fan club called Once Upon a Classic. And I went to their party. They have a Christmas party often. And a lot of times I'll try and sculpt something specifically for the club because we have this gift exchange. I kept saying, don't let me be the winner, because everybody's going to buy, is going to trade for a one-of-a-kind sculpture. So don't put me in the running for the most traded gift. They always give you that prize for most traded gift. I go, no. It's not fair, because I am an Imagineer and artist, and it just trumps everything. So no. And they are so cute. They always want to give it to me. But anyway, I digress. The point is that I usually create these little sculptures, and he pulled me aside. He was almost in tears. He had put his Tinkerbell up on the mantle, and his cat had walked across the mantelpiece, knocking her over, and she shattered. And I said, did you keep the pieces? He said, yes. So I said, let me have it. He had actually brought it, and we repaired it to its original state, and he just couldn't believe it. So we're really good at that, because it's our work, right? One of the things that I always encourage you, don't do it yourself. Don't get out the super glue. and try to do a Christmas story thing on your sculpture, send it back to me, and I'll give you a price, and you can decide whether you want to spend that money. It's not high. I only charge you for the repair and the bringing it to its original state. I don't take a commission on top of it. So maybe postage, but I just want to do it so you have it. So maybe that's not right of me either, but I asked Google and saw it saw a picture. Good for you. Yes, you can Google Maleficent. She's very popular and she's rarely sold. So people keep that Maleficent sculpture. They really love it. And so Nate found one, and but it was missing the plaque. And that's what can happen. My Jewels of the Park, which were the initial set of sculptures that introduced me to collectors on Disneyland property, sold out in a New York minute, okay? And I didn't even get an art proof at the time. Long story, I won't go into it now. If you want to, ask in the AMA and I'll tell you the story, and I'll show you pictures. But the reality of it is that those little sculptures were very special. And I found one, my husband found one on eBay, and it was shattered. And the person said, I'm going to sell this for whatever reason. I don't even know why they sold it. I think they sold it because it was for me. And because I didn't have an art proof, I bought it and then I repaired it and I have it in my home now. And it's great to have one, because at the time I didn't have the art proofs. Now, later the art proofs came to me, but like I said, that's a different story. You want to know or see those Jewels of the Park? It was 6 attractions that were offered at Disneyland. So Peter Pan's Flying Ship was the first one. Alice's Caterpillar was the second one. We had the teacup. We had the carousel horse. Carousel horse was actually number 6. Dumbo's Flying Elephant and Mr. Toad. All of those I sculpted in miniature and limited to only 10. And Disney sold them for, a bit. But you all love them. And if you want to see some of the things that I did exclusively for Disneyland when I was there doing miniature sculptures, thank you, Tony Baxter. I will do that for you. Caroling Ghosts. That's kind of a cool idea. Yeah. Would it be the hitchhiking ghost caroling, or would they be the sort of Victorian carolers as ghosts? Bob Roomba says, that must be a great feeling to be trusted by someone to do their work. If it is, let me just say, yes, Bob, you are right. It really is. But I think what really makes it special is that you, let's say you do a one of a kind, you want a one of a kind, you're vested in it. We work together side by side because I need you to guide me and make sure it's correct. I'm a really good sculptor, don't get me wrong, but I can't know every character. And the idea of the pieces I do is they have souls. Okay. If you've ever gone to a Hallmark store and you've seen like a 6 or 7 angels on a shelf, maybe a dozen angels on the shelf, but one in particular captures your heart. The rest of them are kind of Same if you have a dog breed that you like, but you see a bunch of sculptures on the shelf and the dog breeds look kind of but there's one that sort of grabs you. That's got a soul. That's the soul touching your heart. And every piece that I do has to have that, or it don't go out. It doesn't go out. So that's the part that's really important to me. And so with Rowley, it's got to strike that chord. It's got to have that that's it feel, or we can't release it because it's his stuff. And if you wanted to have a character that you loved, like you heard about some of the characters here, Ariel and all the characters that have been mentioned here. Sorry, I'm just all of a sudden I had a and Bullseye. That was what I was trying to think of. If it doesn't say Bullseye to Tracy, it's going to be a miss, and it's got to be a hit. The same with Mickey and Minnie in Love. And this was a tough one for me, Mickey and Minnie in Love, because I'm not a Mickey and Minnie fan. So now I have to work against the fact that I'm not really keen on Mickey and Minnie. I apologize for that. They just don't really. But what excited me is the love that this young lady had for them and them as a couple had for them. And I tapped into that. And it's one of the best pieces I've done. To date, it's one of the best pieces I've done. And that's because of the love you have for it that consumes me. So we're working together. You don't sit back and wait for it to arrive in the mail. No, if you're going to do a one of a kind with me, we're side by side making it real. Okay. You can pick the, if you got Ariel, you pick the scene, you pick the, does she have a fork and she's combing her hair and, where it, there's a lot. There's a lot because you are involved. Holly says, after the Tribe Live, I had to run an errand. I'm back and you're still going. I always am. Okay, we are at what are we at? Almost the 2-hour mark. And I'll be winding down here a little bit because I do have to get stuff mailed out today. But usually I go 1.5 to 2 hours on Mondays and then 3 hours. One time we went 4 hours. I didn't even feel it because of the pandemic. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Because a lot of you people have asked me to. Live stream started 6 months ago. See what I mean? So last year, I finally, bam, figured it out and did it. And that's when Angie became as consistent as me. Right, Angie? Yes, Tracy. If I make Ariel, Anita will come. In fact, Anita will say she was the number 1 position and you'll have to be the number 2 position. 1 and 2 will have to be sold for you guys. And man, Anita's got so many Ariels. It would really be interesting to hear what she thinks Ariel should look like. I would love to see a Terri Hardin Halloween sculpture, whatever Halloween means to you. Oh, it's so funny you say this, Holly, because I just thought of something that I thought would look super, super cool. Super, super cool. And it just popped into my head and it was about Halloween. I'm going to write it down because with you saying that, it kind of endorses it. All right. I'm writing the word idea. Also, Holly, you bring up another thing. Because I'm 63, I'm also looking to do my own pieces, my own art concepts. I'm working on one now that I don't want to discuss specifically, but I'm so excited about her because she has she's grounded very, very strongly in my heart, my body, and my life. And I'm working on her now, and she's all mine. She's all my concept. She has nothing to do with Disney. She has nothing to do with anybody else. She just happens to be a character that I really love and woke up with this concept, and I can't wait to get it sculpted. I worked on her a little bit, and then I have to step away because it's very important that she look and feel the way I want her to look. And the funny thing is she's little, and I'm thinking maybe that might be the maquette, and I'll make her larger, but I haven't decided yet. My husband's kind of saying it's nice to have them little because you do little, but then I'm thinking maybe she should be more here instead of like the impressions rather than her be an impression, that she should be a little bigger. So that's the battle I'm having with her right now. So thank you for that, Holly. It's very sweet of you to say. I would really have to think about that, says Bonnie. The movie came out during a more challenging time in my life, so it hits my heart. Well, think about it. Please do. Please do, because that's how things start. My original artwork, when I was younger, I sculpted a lot of animals. And so I'm very particular about animals, their personalities, their attitudes, and what makes them special. A lot of wild beasts, but also I did some puppies, cats, dogs coming together. Kidding. Just realistic animals I did. And I did them for the World Wildlife Foundation to help the World Wildlife Foundation have something they could sell to help benefit animals all over the world. And then I got busy and they had their needs. And so we separated, but I'd like to do that again. I also want to do, my husband bought me paint, so I want to do painting. And I was saying the other day, when I do stuff, it's super, super detailed. It's like, so one of the things I like about the impressions is it loosens me up a little. It's not as tightly detailed as my waxes are, but it's still detailed. And so I would really like my painting to be looser. So rather than paint like many painters I've seen paint, where they sort of do a sketch like in acrylic and then they paint the eye and they pull the eye to completely done and then they move over into the face and they pull the face out completely done and then they move into the dress and it's kind of, that's the way that they work. I want to do it like the painters do, where they start with darks and lights and they pull the whole image in as if tuning into focus. I know that that's going to be a super challenge for me because when I draw, I kind of cherry out the area and then expand like this from the face. Okay. So what I mean is, and I'll show you what I'm talking about because it makes it a little easier to illustrate it. When I was in love with Star Wars, I did a couple of illustrations. This is mine of Mark Hamill as Luke. And the way I drew this is I started with his eye, and then from the eye, I went over to the other eye. Then I went into the face, and then I went up into the hair. So, but I took it to its full. So I did the eye until I was happy about it. Then I radiated from that, instead of working the whole area at the same time. Instead of doing the whole thing, I drew this eye and then this eye and then this nose and then this mouth. Then when it was all done, stepped back and then played with it a little bit. But with painting, I've watched many painters paint the thing and then pull it in as if, focusing, in tight. And some go super, super detailed and some keep it painterly. Like you've got people like Van Gogh, who it's got realism, but it's got different colors and it's got a lot of, palette knife work on it, and it's so cool. Or you have Rembrandt where it's pseudo realistic and then he plays with the light to the point to where you're like, holy moly, how did he even do that? But if you watch his process, he doesn't start with a collar and a head, get that all perfect and then move over here, get that all perfect, move over here. Michelangelo didn't do that either. So that's what I'd like to do as a painter. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I can. I think I can. I hope I can, but I don't know if I can. So that's why I'm like, it's going to be interesting, but that's the goal that I want to do. I'm taking a drawing class, a little drawing exercise class where the artist is showing you, like, for example, an astronaut, for example. So you got the astronaut floating in space, for example, and he wants you to break down the figure in boxes as if you were building this character out of boxes and cylinders. So you don't draw any detail whatsoever. You assemble the boxes. That's very challenging for me because I could just draw that sucker in a New York minute. Breaking it down into box shapes is a little harder. So my point is, if you're taking a class, you got to do what the teacher says, or what's the point of taking the class, So that's kind of what I'm talking about. Mary Poppins is my favorite Disney character for sure. Yes, Angie, she is wonderful. We don't see your comment, Angie or Tracy. Deanna, I'm sorry about that because I'm seeing them, I think. May says, I don't have any Ariel coming out of the water in her sparkling, beautiful dress with her arms wide open. Oh, is that... I'm not as familiar with the movie. So when she's in her sparkly dress, is that after she has been, she's transformed and she's meeting the prince? Or where does that happen? I'll have to take a look at that. I will make sure I take a look at that because it's not registering. I have to tell you that I tend to obsess with that English sheepdog. That dog makes me nuts. I love that dog. That dog is just animated so fun because he's flumpy and he just distracts me from everything. Ariel. Sorry. But yeah, help me with this because this is why I don't know every character. So I appreciate you mentioning that, May. And I look forward to fine tuning the focus of that. How about Uncle Albert? I love to laugh. He's a bit out there, but I've never seen him. Milt Larson, the founder of the Magic Castle, has a 7-foot-tall oil painting in his office behind his desk. He loves him. Ed Wynn was a very eclectic character. Yeah, and I would have to know more about Uncle Albert. You would have to fill me in and I don't know if you have to fill everybody in, but those of you who love Uncle Albert, fill me in. Could be a real good idea. If you make Ariel for Anita, you should make Gary. You should make Gary from SpongeBob SquarePants for Gary. They love them both. Yeah, Gary really loves. Yeah, he does. He's so funny. I'm not a SpongeBob SquarePants fan, so I would really be hanging on Gary for everything because I used to be the best SpongeBob sculpture for Nickelodeon, and I'm not a fan of the character. So see how that works. But I did for a while sculpt SpongeBob, and I did him like he's this big, like a sugar cube size. One time. Yeah, go figure. Eek! Ezra and Phineas already have top hats. Yes, they do. They do indeed. Don't tell the boss how consistent I am. I don't know what you're talking about, Angie. Thank you, Frank. How nice of you to tune in and take time to tell me you love the work. I appreciate that. I love that idea, Holly. See, you guys are just so good. Be so joyful. Yes, indeed. What's David have to say? Happy March 1st, David. Yeah, it just shows me, how much I miss those extra days on the back end of February. I always go, it's over already. 28 days is not enough. I like that 31. Indeed. Hi, Terry, says Shelby. Hi, Shelby. Have you ever met Noel McNeil? Oh, yes. You two have similar ethnic backgrounds. Have you had any discussions with one another? Oh, yeah. Noel and I go way back. There's a little show called The Puzzle Place. And Noel was a big deal on that, as you know. And then he did Bear in the Big Blue House. Yeah, we know each other very, very well. Yep. He's a good guy. Used to visit his apartment in New York and fell in love with his mom. Yeah, Noel's a good, he's a good egg, that Noel McNeil. And yes, we both talked about it. However, I will say that, as I spoke of before, that being mixed and a woman you got to work hard. Yeah. You women know what I mean, in a business. And it doesn't mean that men don't have to work hard. It's just that, there are times women are invisible in the workplace, aren't we? Yeah. And then you get up and you go, no, I'm not. Yeah. Yes, indeedy. Shelby says, love Mary Poppins. Can't blame you. So do I. The original with Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. The other one, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know. Did they make another one? I don't think so. Angie says, Tracy and I are on YouTube. That's why you don't see our comments. Yes, but I see them. You look good. It's great. A lot of times YouTube and Facebook and, if I do another one, like if I did a live thing on like a LinkedIn, which I haven't yet, nor do I intend to in the future. This is a lot. But they ask for your permission. So somewhere along the top, if you click on permissions, you can see permissions and it'll let you do that. StreamYard is the platform I'm using, and they want to be sure that they are compliant with your privacy. So they do it often. To make sure that they take care of you. That's what that's about. I asked because I was confused at the the amount of time that I had to continually, the frequency, that's the word, the frequency I have to keep giving permission, and I'm using StreamYard. So I was very confused, but they were very kind in explaining that, we have to keep compliant, and we all do. So that's where that came from. So, but we are now at the 2-hour, 9-minute mark. And I'm going to take this opportunity to say, I love you guys. And I want to thank you for sitting here with me for a full 2 hours. When we return on the Friday AMA, I will show you again the gifts that I want to give away to you for your dinosaur story. So if you have a dinosaur story, whether you're a young kid that you watched it, or you were an adult, or you're showing it to your kids, or whatever your story might be, please email it to me. And let me see what we have here. Bedknobs and Brew Sticks is one of my that's such a great one. Deanna, what a good one. That's a good one. What I'd like you to do is do me a favor and email me at terri@terrihardin.com. That's right here. And tell me your story. Or you can message me in the messenger, because a lot of you are here with Facebook. And write to me your story, your dinosaur story. And I'm going to pick the best ones. And if you give me permission to share it, I'll share it. And you'll get a little something. I have buttons. I have a calendar. I have some magazines, all kinds of stuff. And I'm starting to accumulate more. But I have some things, and I will show you those on the Friday Ask Me Anything, okay? We'll open with that. I should have opened with it today, because a lot of you do not stay till I don't expect you guys to stay till the end. Many of you do. I love you for it. But I don't want you to have to go all the way to the end to find out what is the deal with the giveaway. So I will do the giveaway at the top of the very first couple of things I'll do at the AMA. So you don't have to watch the entire video if you don't want to. Still in production, I'm going to be doing highlights. So if you had questions that you like, I am currently breaking those down so that you can have a highlight playlist here on my channel. Simply go there, look up the question, it'll go. I'm trying to decide if it'll be 2 or 3 questions that last 5 minutes, or if it'll be a couple, depending on my story. You know how my stories go. If you have an idea about the highlights, should they be 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, 2 minutes long, so that you can pop in, get your story, and get out, And then also a podcast of the highlights, so you can just listen. Won't be pictures, but there'll be, if I've shown some things, maybe we'll do show notes or something. But if you've got an opinion about that, go ahead and do me a favor and post it in the comments here or here. I would love to hear your opinion about that. I'd love your guidance on that, because I was trying to decide playlist or channel, and many people have already said a playlist would be easier. They could go to my channel, which is here. Let me see if I can find it. My YouTube channel. Here's my YouTube channel. And you can go here, you can subscribe, but basically there's playlists. I'm constantly surfing YouTube to find interviews and appearances I've done, snippets that have happened, and things that include me that surprise me every single time. Okay, so my husband was watching a wonderful documentary. I think it, forgive me. Let me drink. Which the name has gone out of my head. Forgive me on that, my friend. I will give you a shout out and shout out your channel respectfully at the top of the hour instead of at the back. But I grouped them in my playlist, so they're easy to get to. So you can go to my films playlist, and it'll have things that pertain to Ghostbusters, Flintstones, Men in Black, anything that I can find in YouTube. I have it linked there, so you don't have to comb YouTube to find these. You can just go to my channel and watch them there. Same with the Foster Farms chickens, same with my pumpkin videos, same with my podcast interviews. All of that is in a different playlist. So this is why many of you have told me the playlist should be Terri Hardin Highlights. That would be easier, is to just go to my channel, which is here, and then find the playlist of your choice. If you haven't done that and you're on YouTube, check it out. There's some good stuff there, especially if you're on, if you're on the East Coast, And you've never seen a Foster Farms chicken commercial, treat yourself. They are very funny. And it's not because I did them. It's because they're seriously twisted and funny. So if you want to see some fun commercials, I grouped them on that playlist. And pardon me, there's talks and experiences. I have not yet grouped my lives, the full lives, but I should actually do it. So all you have to do is look through lives instead of trying to comb through the whole thing. And I may do that as well. Let me know what you think. And then I'm going to do more videos that are not live, where I let you look over my shoulder and see what I'm up to. Where have I gone? Where have I been? What my life looks like? What? Okay. So if there's something you'd like to see or whatever, or maybe a playlist that's designed like that, I'm more than happy to listen to you guys, because it's so helpful to me to have your input. That really makes a difference for me. So I really want to thank you for that. Okay. So let's see what Deanna says. Bed knobs and broomsticks. Thank you. And you have a great week. And feel free to pipe in, check out I'm the Baby, Gotta Love Me. I love dinosaurs. If you want to hear about dinosaurs, ask more in the AMA. Okay. I hope you join us, Tracy, because the Ask Me Anything starts at 9:25. And it's on Fridays, and then I answer your questions. So I hope you join us. Hugs, Deanna. I love you. Tim Gillette. How are you, buddy? That's my friend. That's my good friend, Tim Gillette. And he's the one that helped me kind of make this all happen. And he's the one that's working with me to make this audio version of these highlights and the video version of these highlights, okay? So that you don't have to sit through what are we at, 2 hours and 60 minutes to find the part that you like. So other podcasters have said I could put in the show notes, like, for example, where you could fast forward the video to, but wouldn't you say you'd just like me to cut it and put it in so that you guys can just have fun and get all the highlights going through? That's what many of you have said. Anyway, let me know. I love you guys. Do something nice for someone else, and it'll make you feel so much better. And that's important during this time that we're in, right? I love you guys. I miss you guys. Until Friday's AMA, think of your questions. Google me, look through the list, think of your questions, and either send them to Leo Holzer, who's on Facebook with me, or you can message him to me, or you can just ask in the comments on that Friday. Okay. I love you guys. You be well. And thank you for hanging in with me. I really appreciate it. And if you're watching it a second time, thank you for watching it a second time. Comment about what you think. Like, wow, you sure can talk.